Well, how do we wrap that around a concept of empathy? How do we wrap that around a concept of mindfulness? Yeah. That's the best way to describe it.
And it's an emphasis. We know this in our work. It's a very intensive emphasis in our schools these days. This concept of creating a positive environment. You know, we live in an ugly time. It needs to be named. We can't experience healing until we diagnose the illness. And I think everybody in the room would agree with that. You know, it seems to me the more local the community, like a school, a classroom, a congregation, a civic club, the better we do at being kind to each other. Now, you go up that scale to a national political party, now we're not doing a very good job, are we? So it seems to me that there is a place we might have some inquiry, and as our AA friends tell us, a searching moral inventory. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, and this came up in our conversation about the idea of, well, how do we get our students together from different parts of town? And really, my response was, how do we get our adults to listen to our kids? Because they tend to have more of the better ideas than we do, and what they need, what they're experiencing, and what they're feeling, and how to address it in their context, because this is now their world. And so that to me is something I think where we need to get is how do we listen to our youth and learn from them, because they have a lot to offer.
I would love to jump in there and just say that I agree. We know as educators, so often our children, our students are so much farther along in these kinds of conversations, and so much farther along in understanding that they know that that this is all bigger than themselves. And I talk with students every day who really are very dissatisfied with the state of civil discourse in our country, and really want to be better, and who want to be leaders. And I think it really is. I think you're absolutely right. The kids are ready. They're so eager, and they want to be a more involved part of their local community and the national community. And this is really our purpose. But they are ready, and they name it. They don't own it because they're not the ones who caused it, but they surely can name it, and they want to change it. I know our students here at Trinity Valley would love to work side by side with your students as well to make our community a stronger place and a more empathetic place.
Ms. Lowry, quickly, and then to Ms. Alberry and Dr. Sines, the role of extracurricular activities in this social emotional maturity, in this cultivation of empathy. Please jump in.
Absolutely. So to be a member of a team, you know, whatever that may be, it's not so much about, you know, your athletic prowess, or if you are the strongest singer or the best dancer on the stage, but to understand that you depend on one another, that you are part of a unit, that you must support one another, that you rely on each other. Those are life skills that we do teach those, I think, as educators in all of our schools. In the classroom, but it's those other kinds of life skills that they learn through extracurriculars or co-curriculars. I often think about our students, and I talk to students a lot about, you know, when we ask a student about, you know, how was your day? We automatically, as educators, tend to veer straight to the classroom. You know, how was math class? How was your English class? How was that AP class? But when students reflect on their day, they're also thinking about, as they walked through the hall, did they feel comfortable? Did they have someone to sit with at lunch? Was their coach happy to see them? And did they push them as hard as they needed to be pushed, with the knowing that if they weren't going to quite make it, their coach was still going to love them anyway? Did they have a friend today? Are they going to have a friend tomorrow? So all of those are factors into the full experience and the full life of a student. wherever the student attends school. And so I think it's really important that we always remember that, because it's the whole student experience that they leave with, and not just part of one. And I would actually say that's why it's been so hard for so many during this pandemic, because their ties were put on hold. Those extracurriculars were put on hold for a long time, and we're doing everything that we can to keep them safe so that they can participate in as many of those activities, so they have that connection with each other and with the adults in their world, and so they have a safe environment. It may be that team or that that artistic endeavor, that's their safe space. That's their safe space for expression, where they feel they're with they're with their own people, the people that they connect with the most, whatever that may mean.
Ms. Alberry.
So I also think that extracurricular activities help to be a great equalizer. I know that it was mentioned earlier, when it comes to empathy, it's about those moments, those shared moments. And so we had an opportunity a couple of years ago to kind of piggyback also what Dr. Sines said, where our sixth graders did a project with the sixth graders at Country Day. And so, because I believe that the earlier that we bring children together, the longer that impact of empathy. And sixth graders are big fifth graders. They're little kids. They're still not jaded by the world. They still, are you nice to me, then you're my friend kind of thing. And so we brought our girls together, and it was this two totally different worlds. They, in terms of, just to give you an example, so they were looking at a task force report, and they were supposed to come together and come up with creative ideas. And so one of the little girls from Country Day, innocent as day, she's like, what we could do is create schools that are free, that people don't have to pay to go to. And my kids they were looking.
What a great idea.
That's interesting. But when you saw them interact, irrespective of that piece, they were little kids having fun. And they ate pizza, and they, and that love of that shared experience, and then that empathy. And I think providing those opportunities where if they meet somebody in a different life, I've gone to camp, you've gone to camp, let's talk about our experiences. And as much as possible, making sure that those extracurricular opportunities are equalizers and serve to level that playing field.
My friend, thank you. We need those pictures, those concrete scenarios. That helps us to understand what you do. David.
I'll just go back to creating that system of intentionality around all these wonderful programs that have been talked about, to making sure that our students understand and know that there is these spaces that they should interact in, that they're aware, and that we encourage them to participate in athletics, that we encourage them to participate in student council, advanced academic courses, so that they can take advantage of what is there for them. It's always important for any student, no matter where you live, for us, and especially in Fort Worth, that they have those opportunities, and then we create that access. And so for school leaders, at definitely my level, our job, that's our intention. That's what we need to set up. Once again, it goes back to the school level, because our wonderful principals and teachers will take it from there. They do all the time. They're doing it now with COVID. And so there's just hats off to them and the work they do. Our job is to create that opportunity. Our job here is to create those spaces and opportunities to do that.
That's great. All right, we've got a few minutes left. Let's open up the floor. About 2 minutes, Carlo, did you say? Yeah, let's open up. Is that all? 2 questions I got. Questions from the floor. Anyone about creating empathy? Yes, sir.
Let me first thank everyone for being panelists, being here, ex-TBS guy. Leadership at the superintendent.
For the people online. So
Okay.
people online.
Leadership at the superintendent, headmaster level. How do we, what type of children transferable empathy skills can we flow up? Have you seen our best practice between our superintendents and our headmasters, our mayor? How do we bring empathy that way? Not to put you on the spot.
It's a good question.
I'm not going to speak for my superintendent, but I know some of the things that have taken place is having those conversations. I think doing the work we're doing here, because I'm assuming you're talking about between them and being, like Tamara said, the example of what we want empathy to be. And so I would say it starts there, creating those discussions, creating a forum such as this to have our students in our community see that our leaders are not coming at each other, that we're working together in this space of understanding and, most importantly, action. And so I know our superintendent and has had several sessions such as that with other educational leaders, with the mayor as well, and with the business community to create this understanding.
Ms. Alberry. Oh, he took your microphone. That's right. Ms. Lowry, while Ms. Alberry is getting her microphone, jump in.
I think it goes to modeling, modeling this for our students in every way that we can as school leaders. And I also think that part of that modeling and something that is a particular, I have a big spot in my heart for this, is really trying to move forward the public-private partnership with our schools. So I'm pretty new to Fort Worth. I've just moved here from across the way from over in Dallas. So Fort Worth is my new city, my new long-term city forever and ever. So I'm getting to know our fellow leaders here in Fort Worth, in particular school leaders. But as the leader of an independent school, over the course of my career, there have been times when I have found where independent schools and our public school districts can even almost be at odds with one another, and we can feel very separate. And I do believe we're entering a different time right now where that's really not the case. And the wonderful two people sitting up on the stage are a perfect example of that. These are all of our children, and this is our community. And the more that we can do to interact with one another and to create spaces for our kids to interact with one another, the better we will be. But we have to do that, and we have to model that. And so you're right. I think forums like these are a great start, and I'm excited and honored to be a part of it and look forward to learning more about. I know a lot of my independent school colleagues, but I'm really looking forward to learning about my public school colleagues here, because even though I run a big independent school, I am a true believer in public education.
Well said. One more question for Ms. Alberry, and then we'll bring it to a close. Somebody had a question? Yes, sir.
I have a degree in carpentry, and it's a rare degree today because it's almost unheard of. There's only one school in Texas that teaches it. 3/4 of the jobs don't require a college degree, and 2/3 of our students never go to college. So where's the empathy for the people that work in?
That is a great question. And Ms. Alberry, you get the last word there. And the question is about vocational. Where's our vocational training emphasis in our school system? It's a wonderful question, and it sort of ties right into my concluding remarks. Yes, ma'am.
So what I would say is Fort Worth ISD has done a great job of offering a variety of different programs for students based upon their interests. And we actually starting the recruitment season is coming up in November. So in Fort Worth ISD specifically, there are so many different programs that speak to the love and the passion of students, of what they're wanting, what they're interested in, what they hope their goals to be. And so that's the thing about choice in Fort Worth, is that there are so many different choices, that if that's what a student wants to pursue, there are so many different ways. Gold Seal Program of Choice, that was started so that when students upon graduation, it's like gold in their pocket, because they have these certifications that they can leave high school and go right into the workforce. And so they've been working, Fort Worth ISD has been working with private partnerships, T3, a lot of different private partnerships, as well as the state, to provide these opportunities, as many opportunities as possible, to make sure that all the needs and desires of all Fort Worth children are met.
That's
without exception.
Beautiful. Wonderful conversation. We will continue this Monday night at 7 o'clock, and we all have lots of demands on our time, y'all, and we're all sick of Zoom. But there is no more important conversation than that on Monday night. Our brother's question about carpentry, wonderful. What Aristotle concluded was that you cannot conceptualize your way into, right behavior. The way those young soldiers were created is a series of repetitive behaviors and activities to which they submitted themselves. And Dr. Michaels and others in this club can tell us, a young woman enters basic training, a girl, and she comes out a woman. Enters a boy and comes out a man. Our two sons did, and particularly when they went to Iraqi war, because they submitted to an authority. You become a carpenter, you can't just read a book, can you? You got to cut a board and nail it. And so these educators could tell us they are creating experiences for our children. Education is not about a standardized test. It's not about anything standardized. It's about something personalized. And let's all, everybody in this club, get behind it. Carlo, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. To Headmaster Lowry online and Principal Albury, Dr. Sines, and Pastor, now we know why Pastor rhymes with master, masterful job. You know, I think the key takeaway for me on this is if we can teach our kids to be empathetic leaders, maybe they can teach us to be empathetic adults. So thank you all so much for your time. It is a tradition of the Rotary Club to donate a book to the Fort Worth Public Library in honor of your talk today. So this is a copy of the plate that will go in your book. Blair, we'll have it to you soon, and a copy that will go in the book and in honor of your talk today. One more hand for all our panelists. Thank you so much. And that's it. Yeah. That was wonderful. And Pastor, excellent job. All right, a couple quick announcements just to close us out. We have 3 folks online that have signed up for the continuous Courageous Conversation on Monday night. If you're interested in the room, please come let us know. We need 7 more to round out the group of Rotary. And a few other closing announcements. Again, virtual meeting sponsors. If you're interested in sponsoring a meeting, please let us know or contact Shanna Saldana. We would love your sponsorship. Don't forget about pedaling for polio. I saw $200 more were donated, so that's $700 till Carlo wears spandex and live streams. Thank you. Don't forget there is a blood drive coming up soon. That is Thursday, October 22nd. Okay, so thank you to all of you that came to the blood drive. That was outstanding. We have a mini State of the Club, so mark your calendars. On November the 5th, we'll be doing a mini State of the Club during lunch. It'll be virtual. It's a Thursday, members only. We'll give you a financial update, tell you the cool programs that we have and initiatives planned, and also open it up for questions. I'm sorry to say that due to lack of interest, there will be no Halloween costume contest next week. We all got together and realized 2020 has been scary enough, and we're already wearing masks. So every day is Halloween, so we'll push pause till 2021. Next week, we have an awesome program. We have Fort Worth born and raised LPGA Tour champion, Angela Stanford. She will talk to us about being life on the tour, life in professional golf. It'll be outstanding. We'll also have a pre-program with Fort Worth Police Academy's top honor graduates with Chief Kraus. So if you're interested, please RSVP to Aurora and let us know so we have a food and a chair count. And Nathan, as you're pulling over the Zoom folks, I'll make one more announcement. On your tables, you should see some information about a minority business award that our club has started. This came as a result of Courageous Conversation number 2, which was expanding the capacity of minority-owned businesses. So, folks, we need applicants. If you know of a business that is minority-owned, that's 51% or more owned, please connect them to us somehow. This is going to be a great opportunity. We've got Mayor Price coming next April, and so please share that with any minority-owned businesses you might know. And you can see everybody on Zoom, everybody in the room can see you, so please wave to us and wave to the folks on Zoom. Guys, we miss you. We love you. Stay safe. Thank you all so much. This has been the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Have a great weekend.